Alrighty, I've muted all the lines and I've got the recording started. Welcome everybody to our Pathway to Abundance Monday night. So glad you could join us tonight. I know a few people will be joining us as we move forward, and I know some of you will be seeing this on a recording, and I'm glad you guys are doing that and sharing the recording. I just wanted to ask a question before we really get started. Are you guys paying attention to what's happening with these smart strips? Hey, Don. See Don in the background there. Have you been paying attention to what's happening with the smart sleeves and the smart strips? My gosh, if you're not, check it out. There's so many stories all over the place now. I mean, on the 360 pages, Good News 360, I don't know, I'm just amazed at the success people are having with those, and we could probably spend the rest of the night like we did last week talking about that. But if you didn't see our pathway about the smart sleeves, smart strips, go ahead on the GIA team page and you'll be able to see what people were saying last week. It was really good news. And I guess that kind of leads to where I want to go to tonight. And working on the topic for today, I was going to talk about social media, but we decided to do the social media discussion another time, because tonight I'm going to share some details about, I'm going to call it a test, a new idea that I had about marketing our products and our company here in Henderson, Nevada. For those of you who don't know, I live in Henderson, Nevada. I've lived here about 6 years. And since I've been in Henderson, I haven't really grown a team here. I have a team all across North America, Australia, New Zealand, and now in the United Kingdom, but I didn't have anybody here in my own hometown. And so in December, I decided that that had to change, and we came up with the idea about Operation Hydration as a gift. And I used that opportunity to go out and share GIA with some friends of mine. But I used a pretty unique approach that I've never tried before, I've never done before. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how that worked out and what the results have been so far. And the reason I want to do this tonight is because I know there's many different ways to build an organization within network marketing or within GIA. Some people, as you can see on our team page today, do booths. They go out and they pay to have a table and they share the products with people coming through a health fair. I think Kedzie had a great looking table, and I know Tracy, you guys were out doing that last week, and Carol was doing a booth this weekend, and so were you, Karen, not. So that's one way to meet a lot of people in a short amount of time. Then other people will use social media. Some will use just reaching out to their friends and family and do home meetings and grow it that way. So the point is there's many different ways to do it. And if you can find a way that works for you and duplicates with other people, that's like the magic of creating a huge organization, is finding a simple way that can duplicate within an organization. And so fast forward now, or go back to December when I started this process, I wanted to come up with a way that we could introduce GIA to a lot of people and kind of take down the wall, take down the resistance from anybody that I was talking to. And so I've done that, and I put a quick PowerPoint together today just to show you what I did, or what we did actually, the people that are here, and talk a little bit about the results. So let me go grab this PowerPoint. Why can't I see it? Sue, can you talk for a minute while I look for this thing?
Oh, I sure can, John. I can always find something to talk about. While you're looking for that, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow night, 6 p.m., we have Linda's, what do we call it? Finding out how extraordinary we are with her new program she's put together, and is invited, not a GIA tonight, but it is extended to all the GIA people and beyond. So be sure to get those invites out. And just before we go back to you, John, because looking at that lovely, we have got our kick off the month call, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. So it's a really busy week, and I'm looking forward to it. Back to you.
Thanks, Sue. Appreciate that. Can you see the picture that says GIA on it?
No, I'm looking at you, and it looks like your actual, where you do your recording from. You're cutting and pasting your recording. Okay.
All righty. So let's see what I can do. I had it all set. Oh, there you go. I got it now. How's that?
Almost. Yes, there we go. You're good to go, my friend.
Oh, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so what I'm calling this is the winning business strategy, share the good news. And you know that we have talked a lot about sharing the good news for a long time. And we have our 360 pages where we've been sharing nothing but great stories about what the GIA products are doing. So that has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about tonight. So it starts out with this concept of storytelling, and storytelling has become huge in the marketing area. And because of this massive growth of the internet and social media, telling stories has been it's been paramount. And I don't know if you can, I can remember before the internet, the way it usually would work is you'd find out about something good from a personal referral or from an ad in a magazine, a newspaper, or on television. And then once you found out about that, there wasn't an internet to go to find out what other people are thinking about that. But now, because of the internet, social media, telling stories has become the way that people find out about things that they want to purchase or services they want to get. And I'll give you a great example. Let's just say all of you now are thinking about a vacation to the Hawaiian Islands, and you're checking out a website of this beautiful hotel, a very expensive hotel, and the website has beautiful pictures of people having fun, and you really have a pretty good idea that you want to do it. But the very next thing that many people do is they go to YouTube or they go to the social media pages and they do a search to find out what other people are saying about that hotel and their experiences. There are many YouTube videos of people at the hotel experiencing their vacation, and they will tell you everything, good and bad, about that experience. And that research will have a lot to do with your decision to go to this specific place to have a vacation. And I'm sure some of you are shaking your heads. You probably have done that before. So telling stories, having stories about your product or service is really, really important. Now, here's a quote or a statistic that I love, and it says 9 out of 10 consumers say that online reviews or customer experience stories are as important as personal referrals. That's amazing to me. But I know that it's true because I know myself. Now, I put this slide together just to say one more thing about this, and this is my thought. The more out of the norm, the more reviews and stories consumers will review before making a decision. And when I say out of the norm, that probably would include the cost. So things that cost more, people will look at more reviews and more videos or reviews and stories about something before they make that decision to purchase. So here's an example from my own life. That Segway on the left-hand side, I decided a couple of years ago that I wanted to get one. Now, I never had one. Nobody I know has ever had one, but for some reason it piqued my interest. And so before I bought it, I spent almost a whole month looking at every possible review I could, every video that I could. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to kill myself. I wanted to make sure that other people were enjoying it, that it lasted a long time, that it went fast enough. I mean, all those kinds of questions you would have before you purchase. And so I know it was at least a month before I made the purchase. And it wasn't inexpensive. It was an expensive purchase, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't making a mistake. And I thought about this today, and I thought about GIA. When you take a look at GIA and the GIA that we're introducing to people, it's kind of in that same unknown. There aren't very many people who know other GIA consultants. So when we're talking about GIA, a network marketing company with energetic products, that's pretty out of the norm for people. So you can see why there's you can see why people would want to know more, why people would go to the internet or go to social media to find out about it before they made a decision. So we know that that happens all the time. So here's the question. What if you could grow a huge GIA organization and all you had to do was to help the people that you care about create a positive experience with our GIA products? And then you could take that positive experience and share it with the world. And by doing that, you would achieve all your dreams. Could it possibly be that easy? Well, I'm going to say that the answer is definitely yes. It can be that easy. And so I put together what I'm calling the good news process. And as you look at this slide, you'll probably recognize on the left-hand side that you've heard this from Linda many times. And she talks about telling a story, listening to a story, and creating a story together. And I have to tell you that it's true. By doing this simple process of telling a story, listening to a story, and creating a story together, you can build a huge GIA organization by duplicating this process. Now I'm going to dig down just a little bit deeper about what this means. So let's start with sharing your GIA product story. So telling your story, sharing your story. And when you're sharing your story, you're going to want to tell people how you discovered GIA. You're going to want to let them know what you couldn't do before you joined GIA. What kind of help did you get from the products? You're going to want to share your vision for helping others and growing your business. And then here's the key idea is you're going to ask them to help you by creating a success story that you can share with other people. And what you're doing is you're really setting up a team idea, both of you working together to do that. So that's telling your story. The next is to listen to a story. Now I know this sounds simple, but in many cases, we're not too good at really listening. We always want to talk about GIA, but in this case, we want to listen to their story. So what I have here is just demonstrate the product and then discover how you and GIA can help them. Now, if you don't do this part, then you're not going to know what to do in the next step about getting together to create the story. So finding out what's happening with them. What's happening with them? Do they have something? Is there something that GIA or you can help them with? And then finally, creating the story together. And this is a team event. It's developing a team approach to getting a positive result. It has to do with loaning products, to loan appropriate products to help that person with the problem that they've described to you. It's also about providing company information and the company info, and of course doing the follow-up to make sure that they're using the products correctly. And then one of the most important things to do is to add the person to our Facebook product story page. And this is where the person that you're working with is going to see all the stories. This is where they're going to get their information about how GIA products are helping other people. And the last thing on this list is do whatever it takes to achieve a positive result. And I'll come back to this when I describe some of the things that we've done here to make that come true. So these are what I'm calling the good news employees. And I'm calling them employees because when you loan someone one or more of these products, the way I look at it, that product is in that person's home for a period of time, working with them to create the result. Of course, I'm guiding along the way. I'm providing additional information, but really it's the products that you see here. And in my opinion, these are the products that get the fastest, most significant results. And what I want to say before I move on from here is that what we've found so far is that we've had pretty good success loaning out just one product. Pretty good. So for example, somebody that has a problem, let's say with a shoulder or with an elbow or a hip, giving them one of the Smart Sleeve circles has worked. Or giving them a Smart Strip Circle or a Smart Sleeve to help them with an elbow problem or an ankle problem. So that has worked. But what I want to say to you is this. I want to focus on, and that last thing that I said was do everything possible to get a good result. So what I'm going to suggest that we do is that we have a group of products that we loan out that include a pendant, a Smart Sleeve, a Smart Strip, iThrive, and also if you have an eye water system, Operation Hydration. Because what I'm finding is the more products that someone is using, the bigger chance we have of getting a result, and getting a result pretty quickly. So before I leave this slide, we have had success loaning just one product and getting that result and creating a customer. But I feel that the best result comes from doing more than that. So having a group of products to loan out, and we can talk more about that when I am done with the slides. Now this next slide is what I really want to really focus in on. There's 3 valuable business building outcomes that come from having or achieving the positive result. Number 1, someone gets a positive result, they give you a story that you can share with the world. And what I'm saying here is that if you give someone a product to try out or products to try out and they have a result, but they don't join your team or they don't purchase a product, there's still a lot of value in them allowing you to share the story. So you can imagine taking a picture with them, talking about their results, posting it on our Facebook pages, even doing a video with them like I've seen Karen Knott do, sitting on the couch and talking about the results that they had. I think there's a story today on, I think it might be on 360, the Good News 360, where they had a result right there at the booth. Karen Knott posted a picture of this gentleman with the smart sleeve wrist on his ankle, I think it was, and she'll explain that later. But that's a story, and the value for that is huge. The more stories we have, because of what's happening with the internet and the way people are checking things out, the more stories we have, the bigger chance that we're going to have that somebody else is going to see that and have a better thought about what we're doing and how we can help them. So that would be number one, very valuable. Number two, that you get a happy customer out of it. And that's what we found. We're having really great success helping people to become customers, even though our initial goal was to just help them create a story that we could share with people. And then finally, a third result would be a new excited business builder. And these are the three results that you'll get when you help someone to get a good result with our product. It's incredible, actually. So here's the results that we've achieved here in Henderson over the last couple of months. So this is a lot to do with my example. 14 people invited to participate, and I actually asked them when I provided the eye water or a product for them to try out to help me to create a story that I could share with people. That's really what our goal was. And so of those 14, 10 became new consultants on the team, 2 new customers. 1 is still in the process, and 1, the timing wasn't right for them right now. And 7 of these people went ahead, although it was, when I talk about the results, most of the results came from Smart Sleeves, Smart Strips, iThrive, and the pendant. But not all of them, but 7 of them have eye water systems. And some of them got eye water systems after they joined and they learned more about the eye water. And now they're learning about other products that they didn't connect with before they became consultants. So I think this is a pretty good result to have 12 people out of 14 have a really positive result. Of course, I shared the stories. That was the bonus. I got to share their stories. And by sharing their stories on my testimonial page, some of their friends were now being added to the testimonial page. They're seeing their friends get results, and that had a lot to do with the success also. So getting results, posting the results, having friends of the person who has the results being added to the page, and it created a desire in people to know more, to really have the same thing. It's just been amazing. So the reality check that I wanted to make sure that we were real with each other. I'm going to go back to this result. So you're looking at this result and you might be saying, can everybody do that? Well, everybody probably could do it, but I don't think from an expectations point of view that we should have this expectation, because I have a lot of experience with GIA. I have a lot of experience with these products and network marketing. And I'm diligent when I say that I'm going to do whatever it takes to help someone get a result, I'm going to do that. But what about a new person? What can we expect? Well, I wanted to tell you Cheryl's example. Now, Cheryl lives here in Henderson. She's one of the people who decided to join my team, and she's a neonatal ICU nurse and has a very stressful job. And she had a great result, believe it or not, with the Smart Street Circle, and maybe you've heard her story before, but I mean, almost a miracle happened for her. And if you asked her, she would say it was a miracle. And so after the result that she had, she got other products, she joined the team, and now she just ordered an eye water system. And with every product that she's gotten from us, she's gotten great results. And she has shared that result with people, with her friends and her close contacts, and doing the same thing I did by loaning a product out to get a result story. And so what's happened so far with Cheryl is 11 people were invited to participate. She has 6 new customers, retail customers, by the way, 2 new consultants, and 3 people said not right now. But I can almost guarantee you, as we continue to share the results in Cheryl's warm network, that she will have those people also joining us at some point, whether they need the products or they're just noticing how much fun we're having. So what I wanted to show you is that someone new can get pretty good results by doing this. But I would say this, and many of you who've been around a long time, if you sponsored someone and they sponsored half of what Cheryl's done, 3 new customers and 1 new consultant by doing a process, you'd say that that was pretty good. I'd say that was very good. And if we can duplicate, if Cheryl can find a few people, which she's doing, she just sponsored Chris, who lives near her, and they're going to do the exact same thing, and she has a new consultant in Alabama who's going to be doing the same thing, you can see where this goes. You can see what's going to happen. And the only picture I could come up with to show what's going to happen to Cheryl's business is this one. It's people, telling people, hearing stories, telling people, and it's going to grow all over North America, all over all the countries we're in now and the countries we will be in the future. And if you were to ask Cheryl, is this a pretty simple business? She would say, absolutely simple. And so that's what we've been doing. We have a lot of other success stories that I could share with you, but I wanted to come back to you so that we can talk a little bit more about this. And I want to get your thoughts and ideas about how it might work for you, or if you've loaned out products like this before and you've had this result. Because what I'm finding as I talk to people about this idea, I'm finding out that, yes, I've done that before. I've done Operation Hydration, or I've loaned out products and I've gotten results. But we've never really focused on a specific process that we did it consistently over and over and over again and taught other people to do it. So first of all, I'll just ask you, anybody, what do you think about what I just showed you? Does it seem doable? Does it seem like real? Anybody? Tracy.
John, this is Tracy. I absolutely love this idea and worked really successfully for me when I find people who have some discomfort in their body, and I just ask them if they would be willing to try something and tell them my story, especially about this smart sleeves on other places besides your joints, and how just with my shoulder and my hip from holding my grandbabies all the time, and just this terrible discomfort. I just, after I've held them all day long, it's like, agonizing. And so I just put the smart sleeves on my shoulder and on my hip, and just within 10 minutes, it's completely gone. And I love telling that story. And I was at my office, and this couple comes in, and I guess maybe some of you have seen the story about Stan and Becky Blackstone, and she was telling me about Stan's. He just has all kinds of terrible discomfort in his body, from his top of his head to the soles of his feet. And I said, well, let's just try something. Can you guys help me see if these products will help you? I mean, I hate to see him in so much discomfort. And so I gave them the whole set of smart sleeves, and I made them eye water, because I said a lot of times we're just dehydrated and we don't even realize it, and that our body is being affected just because we're not truly hydrated. And he was kind of grumbling at me because he doesn't like drinking water. And I said, I'm just going to ask you to drink this much water in the morning, just a little bit of water in the morning, and then drink that much water at night before you go to bed. And then I'll catch up with you. And so 2 days later, I went to my office, and they happened to be in my office talking to my mom. And he was almost like totally transformed. I said, what's going on with you? He was glowing. He was happy. He had a light step. And I said, Stan, what is going on? Tell me your story. And he said, I don't know what it is. I can't explain those things. He said, I just put him on my knee and my foot, and he couldn't move his thumb. And so he put the sleeve on his wrist. And he said, and so I drank that much water in the morning, and I drank that much water at night. He's like, it's the first time that I didn't wake up in the middle of the night, and I didn't wake up with a dry throat, like so cotton mouth dry. I'm like, really? And how is it making you feel right now? He was just beside himself. And so I just saw him Saturday again, he and his wife Saturday. He's like, who knew that water could be so transformational? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, who knew? So anyway, he's totally sold on it. His wife gave his smart sleeve to a friend of theirs who was complaining about a knee injury, and the guy wouldn't give it back to him. So she said, I might need you to talk to him because I don't really know what to do, but he doesn't want to give it back. I'm like, well, let's go talk to him and find out what his story is.
I think that's the one thing that we've heard the most is we don't want to give it back until we get ours. I think, let me go, Tracy, thanks for that story. I really appreciate it. And you know, I wanted to say to you, Tracy, and everybody else, that let's say she went through the process of helping him out, and he didn't purchase any products and he didn't join. It would still be a great, valuable story to share with people so that people could see what's possible. And that's what I want to get across. There's so much value in just helping someone. And some people, honestly, when they use the smart sleeves or smart strips, their problem's going to go away. And they may give it back to you and say, hey, thank you very much. And that's it. That's still a great result. We've done what we're supposed to do. And it's just joyous, really. It's just a blast to do it. Chris, are you with us? I see Chris Moen, are you with us? I can't see. I just see the top of your head. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on the counter.
Hey, welcome. I'm glad you joined us tonight. Chris is brand new. Her products are arriving tomorrow. And Chris is a great story because this is like what I'm talking about. So Chris is a friend of Cheryl. And Cheryl's been talking about her results, and she's been posting things on it and added Chris to our 360 page, and she's been seeing the stuff that's going on. And she knows other people that have gotten results so far. And so she was talking to Cheryl about it, and Cheryl was sharing it, and Cheryl just happened to be coming to a meeting at my house, actually a training meeting. So she said, okay, I'll go. And I can say she didn't really want to go, but you know what? What if it worked is the way I think you probably thought. Am I right so far?
Yep.
So she comes to the meeting, and now I'm thinking it's just going to be a training. Now we have someone new, but we just did our training. That's what I was going to do. So before we started, we talked to Chris, and she has a lot of issues, like a lot of people have. Knee problems, joint problems, and we could go on and on and on. So we wanted to try the products out. So what we did is we took a wrist wrap and we put two pieces of tape on it and taped it to her knee. Now, tell them how bad your knee was.
Well, just in the car ride over there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. First time I ever done this. As typical, when I got out of the car, of course, my knee hurts. It's like, you know, it's just bad pain. I'm like, God, I can't do anything with my knee. You know, just hurts. So that was just in the car ride coming over. Get out of the car, pain. So, yeah. So you want me to tell you what happened? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Tell us what happened. So I put it on her knee. You never know what's going to happen, how fast it's going to be. So we sat down to do the meeting. She's sitting on the couch. I'm going through some information. And then what happened?
I kind of jumped up in the middle of you were talking, and it's like, oh, you know, I wanted to go get some water or something, and I jumped up, and I got about 2 steps, and I stopped, and I thought, God, I hope they didn't see that, because they're going to ask me what I thought, and you did, and I'm like, oh my God, I just jumped up, and my knee didn't even hurt, and it hurts just sitting. Like, you know, I've had a desk job. You get up and, you know, after sitting for an hour, 20 minutes, any sitting, I get up and the knee hurt, but it didn't hurt at all. And like I said, I took 2 steps, and all of a sudden I went, oh my God, I cannot believe that just worked that fast in something that's been chronic for so long.
Yeah. And so we all saw it too. That's the funny part. She felt it, we saw it, and so it was really funny how fast, and I'll never forget it really, and we had a blast with that. So what happened is we finished the meeting, and I gave her 2 smart circles to take home and 2 bottles of eye water to continue the process of her learning about what the products do. So I just didn't depend on the one thing happening. I really wanted to give her a shot at having more experiences. Well, the next day she called and became a team member on Cheryl's team, and can't wait to tell everybody else about it. That's what I'm talking about, right? And if I'm going to say it again, if she stood up and had that great results, just having that story to share would be so valuable. That's why I feel so good about just talking to people. Let's get a story and see what happens. And I could tell you so many opportunities, or so many times that that's happened, that people have gotten a result, and it's just good news. And so there's 2 things that I'll finish with, is that you have really 2 markets in a sense. You have a warm, I'm going to say network. That's what I call it, a network. We build a network of people that we know and care about, and they know us. So that's a warm network outside of GIA. And then you have a network of people who are on your team, the GIA folks who have joined your team, and that's another network that's now growing, and it's creating a volume, and it's creating people joining your team. They're both important. So the people who become the stories will become referral people for you, folks who want to help you to grow. They're going to see their story. They're going to add people so that other people can see their story. I did a quick video about Chris this afternoon and sent it to her. Now she has a video of what we just talked about, and I'm sure she'll share that with people, and it'll be posted places, and you can see that on Vimeo right now. And that's valuable, that warm network, as we're growing the GIA network. And my belief is that as GIA becomes stronger and stronger and people really see what we're doing, a lot of the people who are in your warm network will be joining us. They will have situations that we can help them with. But it all counts. Thanks, Chris. You're very brave. Appreciate it. Who else? Who has a thought, comment, question, has done something like this in the past?
John, I'll jump in if that's all right. I think the most important thing with Chris's story, though, is she's back on the pickleball court, right?
Not sure if she's back there yet, but she will be. Her products are coming tomorrow, I believe. So it's
excellent, excellent. Well, that's where my story leads us to very quickly. I know I rang you the other night about it, or the other afternoon, at pickleball, and I've already posted it on the Facebook pages, so some of you may have already seen it. But the best feeling in the world is when you've not only just helped one individual, but when you're going back to them to see how they got on after a match, and you see them taking off the product and sharing it with someone else who has discomfort without your presence. So that was just an amazing feeling, and such a blessing knowing what our products do. And now I have two people on the same day using products to alleviate their discomfort, and it was just amazing. So that was just why we do what we do, to make that difference. But when we have other people automatically doing it because it was that effective, no feeling like it in the world.
Yeah,
amazing.
And Sue's already posted that, took a picture, posted the story. And I talk to a lot of people every day on our team, and I hear stories all the time about people's experience. And I just want to reach out to all of you and just say, take a moment. Take a moment to take a picture and to share it with us. Share it with the world. Doing that, just that, it doesn't take long to do it, but it's so valuable. It's such a powerful way. As I said, 9 out of 10 people are going online to hear the stories, to make a decision whether to join your team or not. And why not share all the stories we can? Karen, you posted a story today. Can you talk a little bit about what happened? This is at a booth.
Correct. And we were just setting up. We weren't even set up yet when the couple walked up. So, and it was just kind of like, well, what do you have here? So we shared a little bit, our story and what we had, and we started talking, and then they started sharing their story. And she is an acupuncturist. So she was very much, she could feel the energy, but what was kind of cool was her fiance could not. He's in the wellness business as well, but not one of those people. And I think that's something that we come across a lot of people as we're sharing GIA that will say, they're sensitive to the energy, but not everybody is. So that was a really cool thing that happened. So as they continued to tell their story, and we talked about, they have a wellness center in Texas. And we were talking about Tracy and Tracy's mom and where they lived in Texas and all this kind of stuff, and just building some rapport. And then he started sharing about a serious ankle, just an injury and a little more than that, actually. And he had multiple surgeries, and he said, my ankle's really, really small. And I was saying, well, this is another product that we have. And we were sharing, kind of getting away from EMFs and just talking about feeling good. And so he was the one that said, I think the ankle strap's going to be too big. Let me try that smaller one. So we put the wrist strap on, and he was standing there, and maybe, I think it was less than 5 minutes, he kept saying, I can feel this. I can feel this. And you could tell he was in complete shock, because she could, it didn't surprise her at all, but he was astounded. So they had other booths, they were going to go check some things out. So I said, just keep wearing it, and then, come back and tell me what you think. And that's what happened. They came back, and I posted it. For those who didn't see the story, they were on their way to San Francisco and then to Hawaii. They're getting married on Wednesday, so they're going to be honeymooning in Hawaii. And she just said, we've got to have this strap. And since I believe they're coming on board, I said, well, you can get this stuff and, get it at the discount and whatever. And And they were like, no. And they weren't going to leave the booth until they could physically buy that strap and not take it off of him. And after a lot of back and forth, I just said, fine, you know, buy the strap. And she said, I'm not going to be dragging him up and down all these hills hiking by his hair in Hawaii on our honeymoon. He needs that wrist strap. So yeah, they were not going to give it back. So it was a really, really cool story. I'm excited, you know, for where it's going from here. But like Sue said about sharing the stories, Mike, who was on last week, who had such a dramatic result, you know, it was Easter and I had loaned them all that product and that on Easter Sunday. So a lot of that product, I don't have that product back because it is loaned out to Mike's mom and Mike's brother-in-law. So it is so cool that, you know, they on their own loaned that out because they'd had such good experience with the products as well. So, and that's never happened before where, I mean, you're not even actively involved in the products being shared. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I think why this is happening is that there's some joy that comes from not suffering anymore, by not having the discomfort. And so many people have had long-term issues and have tried so many different things. And here we come along with, I mean, I'm still in shock at how well these work. I think if we were all introduced to GIA when Smart Sleeves and Smart Strips came out, we would be going wild with it. We would be. And now the new folks that are joining us, that's what they know. Sure, they're going to learn about eye water and all the rest of the stuff we do, but they're going to see such a simple way to go help someone feel better, and then that person helping to grow, creating the stories, sharing the stories, and it's just going to go. So let me open up. Any questions about what we did? Chris, you want to say something? No? Okay. Anybody have a question about what we've gone over today, about the employees and getting the products out there, anything at all? Anybody out there?
Well, I am going to ask a question, John, because are you there?
Yep.
Okay. I've learned in a very quick time that
Are you getting feedback?
yeah, I got Susan.
I'm muted, Joe. I think that's why.
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, in a very quick time, I mean, you're loaning out product, and you know, even though I got product coming tomorrow, I plan on using it. I obviously need to buy additional product in order to sample it out. And like some of these stories here, you give it to one person, they've already passed it on to a couple more people, and I've got 2 of yours. I'm not giving them back till I get mine. You know, so obviously we need to buy more product than, say, my pocketbook says okay to. How's that?
Yeah, I agree. I know that feeling. And so we just have to do what we can do. And as you've seen that what Cheryl's done, she's loaned out one product and gotten it back. Well, she's loaned out, some of those have been mine. And she wants to give them back, but every time she gets it back from someone else needs it. And so it's kind of gone like that. And so what I'll say is that, and really this strategy is really for people who want to create an income, who want to grow a team. And we can work into having the product. So every once in a while, I'll order another product that I need, and I'll put it in my kit that I'll have to loan out. So it's not something that you have to do right away, but I think we can work up to it. Now, some people will come in and they'll see the business, like Harry, I don't know if you know Harry Shaw, plays pickleball, and Harry decided that he wanted to get a kit for himself. So he got the pendant, Smart Strip circles, he got 6 circles, I Thrive. So that was his starter, and he bought 3 other additional, exactly the same, so that he could loan those out to people. And that's before we even came up with the strategy. He already had in his mind that that's what he was going to do. So some people who join us and have that business concept will understand what we're talking about. But right. There's many ways to do it, but loaning products and helping them get a story and then helping them to see the other stories, adding them to our Facebook pages so they can get the great feelings that we're having today, the smiles, the joy that comes from this, both from the consultant point of view and also the person getting the result. So long answer to we can work up to it.
Yeah.
Hello, Susan Kibbe. I got it.
John, I'm so happy you're Susan, are you going to say something?
Yeah, she's going to go first. I'll come back to you.
Right.
Okay, it's a quick question. I'm wondering, when you took the 2 wrist wraps and taped them together and put them on Chris's knee, did you put them on the skin or on her clothing? And it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we took 1 wrist wrap, put 2 the double-sided tape, and put it right on her knee.
On the skin? Oh, right on her skin.
Yep.
So if in my climate, sometimes the skin is not available. So would you ever put it on the clothing, or would you have to put it on the skin?
Well, I've never just put it on clothing, but it wouldn't surprise me if it worked.
Okay.
John, I could actually answer that because a couple years ago I was using the smart strips and I had to put them across some bandages after some surgery. And I reached out to Linda and she told me it was getting through, not a problem. And the scarring I don't have proved it.
Great. And I know Dave had some issues too, Dave, didn't you?
Yeah, I had knee replacement, and Kevin, as soon as I came out of surgery, placed the smart strips on top of my bandages, and I left them there. I never had any bruising whatsoever. And what I wanted to say, John, is I've been doing this. I've looked at this, loaning out. This is the best way that I've had success, is by loaning these products out and letting people experience them. So I'm so happy this is the avenue we're going down, because I'm just buying more product and loaning them out all over the place, having great results.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. And I guess the struggle I have sometimes is keeping track of where things are. So that's why I'm glad I'm going toward the kit, so I can get the kit back. And that's been a little bit of a struggle keeping track, but it works. Carol, you had something?
Yes, I was just a little bit confused. I wanted just to be real clear. The word straps has been floating around, so I wanted to see whether it was the strips or the sleeves that were having the success that you guys were talking about.
I think Karen was talking about smart sleeves.
Smart sleeves.
Correct.
And then for you, with the 2 wrist that were placed on the knee, were those smart sleeves then?
Yeah, smart sleeves. And it was only 1 with just 2 pieces of the tape. So 1 just on the front of the knee, and that worked fine. I think naming both of those smart strips and smart sleeves probably is causing a little confusion. I know when I do a video, I have to really focus in to say the right thing. But yeah, just on the knee with 2 pieces of tape.
John, can I add something?
Yep.
Just really quick to address one of the things Chris was saying, and we can all relate to that you're trying to get your own product and you're not sure how much extra you can buy all at one time. And one of the products that you can spread out a bit more is the I Thrive packets. And I find that's been really helpful. In addition, I try and loan out at least 3 things. And I used to always give away 5 when I would give a gallon of water, because that is nice and they could, go through the whole 5 days. But now I'll give out like 3, and people are experiencing the energy in the first day. So that might be something for her where she could divide that pack into, that would be 8 different people she could share that with, as well as water.
I think too, the thing that we're noticing about results, the results are happening quick. I mean, it's not like a whole week or 2 weeks before someone gets results. I mean, Chris is a good example. What happened at your booth, Karen, is a good example. And so if I'm loaning out a group of products to someone and I call them 2 days later and I say, hey, how's it going? Oh, you're not going to believe my back problem just went away, and I'm going to go pick up the product because we got our goal, and I'm going to take them back and they're going to go somewhere else. And that person's going to know that, you know what's going to happen. So it's not like they're going to have them for days and days and days and days, for sure. Susan.
Yeah, I have a quick question about the packets. I've been meaning to ask this. Do you attach them to the gallon, or how do you do that?
Karen?
Susan, I just put a couple in a Ziploc baggie and attached it.
Do you punch a hole in the Ziploc baggie and put a ribbon through it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, however you can do it. I put it in a folder, so it's pretty simple. However easily you can do it. All right, so anybody else before we go tonight? I hope you're excited about this. I mean, it is the easiest thing I've ever done in anything I've ever done. It's so simple. It's relatively inexpensive, and the result can be huge. Just keep your mind focused on what happens when your team starts to do this, and there's thousands of people helping people the same way. That's what I want you to think about. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Any questions, any ideas you have about this, let me know. I'm going to have this recording posted tomorrow so you can send it out to some other folks. Thank you.
Good night.